welding independently in small towns. Family, I had a few people ask me about this, and it's actually a great topic. I think that the main thing about working in small areas and small towns is that they don't fully understand the value of what you have to offer being a independent welder. A lot of times they would say, "Hey, I need you to do this little job, this small thing," not knowing that you have to bring over thousands of dollars worth of equipment in order to do that small job that they want you to do. And they don't understand that you got a bare minimum. Say, you bring it to me, it's this price. I come to you, it's this price. They don't really understand that a lot of times they'll figure that, you can do it, do it for some love, but they'll take everything else to the system. They'll go to the brake shop, they'll go to the rim shop, they'll go to the car lot and all of that. But when it comes to your services, a lot of times they're undervalued. But when you're in a bigger area, like bigger cities, a lot of times they'll really value your skill, especially if you can show up and do the job on time and fix the issue that they had. They don't have no problem with referring you and understanding that you got a bare minimum for your time. Now, I would say that when you get started and you're picking your minimum for what your price is, I say just pick it due to your area, but also due to what you're doing. If you're using your gas equipment, if you're using your electrical equipment, whatever you do, try to just make it, feasible for the area. But you have to be realistic. So if you was doing it as a hobby and you'll keep your job, you know what I mean? But you're trying to start a business, so you're looking at it different. So when you invest in this equipment, you have to get paid for your equipment. If you invest in your, in your skills, you have to pay yourself. You have to remember that you have to pay yourself, fam. So, getting started, you might say, hey man, I at least want to make $25 an hour, bare minimum for my time. So, if you're using your machine that you might buy, you might say, hey, I at least got to make a bare minimum of $10 an hour, $15 an hour for my machine. So you might start out at a bare minimum with a 110 welder doing repairs, and hey, I got a $35 hour charge, at least 2 hour minimum getting started. There you go, fam. I mean, but there's so many ways to tackle this. But I would say in small towns, they don't understand the value, and a lot of times you're not going to um, get the work that you need unless tied into the good old boys, so to speak, or um, sometimes you can be able to get certain things in, but it's almost like when you're in small areas, it's almost better for you to get a job than it is to be independent because they'll almost starve you. You know what I mean? Because they don't understand. They would rather for, well, why you not doing it like this? So unless you got a big business going, you have to really think outside of the box. So really think outside the box. So that's why I always say product over talent, because if you in a small town and you got a good product, that'll be your best bet. You got something that they need. If they do a lot of mowing and lawn care, you might have a product or some repairs on the trailers or whatever it is you might be doing. But I was try to cater it to that. But in small towns, family, it can be stressful trying to build your independence, trying to get your business started because they don't fully understand the value, and you can't devalue what you have to offer just because you're in a certain area. So, like I say, set your bare minimum. If you say, hey, I at least got to make 20 and 10 for my machine, that's 30, so figure out what it's going to be. Me personally, I'm not doing no type of welding. If it comes to me, like in my hometown, I have a $50 minimum. I don't care what I'm doing. It ain't, if I'm doing it, it's gonna be at least $50. You know what I mean? And then if I got to come to you, it's gonna be at least 75 because you're using your equipment, using your truck. All of that is equipment. Everything is business related. So when you're building your independence, think of that too when you're getting your business started. I say that it's wise, fam, when you're doing this, even though you're in a small town, it might seem small, get your LLC started. Your EIN as a LLC. It's better than a sole proprietorship because now you got some protection. So get it started as a LLC. That way, even though you might be making small numbers in, you still can send out invoice showing that you are making money, but it's a little slow. So if you're trying to scale your business or get a loan or something, you can still be able to do it as long as you can have a paper trail. So keep that in mind, fam. But also, like I say, always think product over talent, especially in small areas. If it wasn't for the fact, I can say this, if it wasn't for the fact of the products that I have to offer before I came to my hometown to renovate my mom's house, family, I don't think honestly, I wouldn't have made it just off of my hustle and just bringing my skills there because, you know, it's kind of like the old saying, people remember who you was, or they'll rather go to the system of who they've been dealing with versus, giving you the opportunity. So it is what it is. But that's why I really enjoy bigger places, bigger cities. And I always say that it's good for a person to get out, find you somewhere you can eat at, and then once you get your career together and get everything going, migrate to that small place or wherever you want to be because I'm not with paying all of that on rent, like especially with the stuff going on right now, fam. I think when you're independent starting out, you want to own everything, and if you can own you a little something or you got a very low cost of living, utilize that until you be able to get into a better situation. But there is stresses, getting started in a small town. The main thing is, like I say, the money flow, the cash flow. So you really have to think outside of your box. Like I say, being in my hometown, it made me appreciate the work I put in before I got here because now I was able to utilize off of that versus me just depending on something coming through where I'm at outside of doing things that I really don't want to do. I do them, but that's not really what I do. You know what I mean? So learn how to think outside the box, man, when it comes to that, and don't get discouraged. You might have to move around, fam. You might be in a spot where you might have to move around, but if it is something you can do, figure out what the need is in the area. Figure out where you can actually get you some income at whatever the situation might be. But there is, like I say, stresses being in small areas. Right now, I'm in southeast Arkansas, and between Dumas, McGee, and Durham, you know what I mean. And in this area, things are a little slow. It's a cotton field. It's a plantational place. You know what I mean. It's a system place. It's systematically where everybody believes they have to share crops, so to speak. I'm gonna just say it like that because that's really what it is. Everybody feel like if you're not a part of the system, then they look at you crazy. But why you're not, it's almost like, well, someone will ask you almost like, well, who told you you can do that? In small places, they think small. They're like, well, they told you you can start your business? Oh. That's just what it is, fam, in small places. I see someone checking in. Yeah, man. It is what it is, fam. So just keep your eyes open when you're in small places. Don't get discouraged, but you will have to move around unless you already established with your products, online presence. Not having some type of online presence right now, family, I think is very foolish. So if you haven't got started yet, you need to get started immediately, especially if you got a business or some type of aspect. You got to have an online presence, website, some type of way people can find you because that's the way that they getting their information in. So we have to stay in tune with how people getting their information in and what generation is really partaking of this information. You know what I mean? But being in small towns, fam, it can be stressful. You can get some extra gray hairs. You know what I mean? Trying to figure out ways to feed yourself, trying to think outside the box with your hustle. But being a welder, fam, you got so many options, especially when you're doing repairs because things break down, and you have to just, you have to stand on, your word and change not. And I'm gonna say that like once you come up with your price and you come up with what you are worth, stand on it. Don't allow someone to undercut you for what the service that you know you provide and you know is good. If you got to come up with something else, fam, come up with something else, but don't allow them to undermine your skill set, what you have to offer. So, if you got a set price, that's what it is. Go with it. Try to fit it to the area, though. Be realistic, because I knew that I can't charge what I was charging in Phoenix. Now, when I do my classes, the target them for the surrounding areas, not just the area I'm in, because people will come to you for a um, for some good skills. If they know they can get it independently, privately, they know they can get exactly what they want. It's valuable. Those in the area might not understand the value, but the people that's coming from outside sources be like, yeah, I understand the value. Peace, family, peace. So, I would say having something like me teaching classes privately is an asset for me, because I don't want to be a part of the system. See, some of us, has been in the system and dealt with it, and we're like, you know what, I would rather figure out something small, minute, and lower my cost of living and what I enjoy doing, and do something this way where I don't have to be a part of it at all. And you can still maintain, fam, because there's so much you can do once you invest in yourself. So that's why I always say invest in your tools, invest in your craft. Um, so that way, if things get slow, there's more than one thing we have to do. We have to master something. I like to say we don't want to be just a jack of all trades and master of none. We want to jack something and then, master something and jack everything else. So when it comes to welding independently, fam, we're going to have to master um, our pricing, a product, something, or a service that we know that we can provide. And a lot of times, if you got something that's tailored, it's easier to uh, get the money flow. So think tailored stuff. And that's why another thing I like to say when we're welding independently, I'm so thankful that I got a chance to learn like ironworking, um, field welding, shop welding, pipe welding, because I use a combination of everything that I learned in my business now. And some things you'll do it unconsciously, and then I think back like, man, I got that from that job I was working on. A lot of OSHA safety, a lot of this. And when you're working for yourself, you have to be cautious, fam, because we know that dealing with welding and tools and cutting blades, it can get dangerous. So you got to protect your eyes and your hands and your feet and your clothing, So it makes you a little bit more cautious. So I would say that being in a small area, family, we just have to think a little harder as far as how we're going to network what we're doing. So see what the need is in the area, but it can be stressful. You know what I mean? I get it, fam. I get it, because the cash flow isn't like you in a bigger area. And I knew, fam, when I came back home, even though like I say, I come back here temporarily. I wanted to get the house up and going, get everything good, and then I travel in and out. And that way I still have, when I come down, I have a place to stay. And if something happened with my kids, they'll have a place to stay always, and we just keep it up. But I knew I was gonna have to come down for a while and actually live here, and to bring everything to pass due to the situations, trying to be in one state and get someone to do something in another state, and you paying and you're not there to put your eyes on and supervise. Sometimes things can go wrong, and it is what it is. There's an old scripture that says that a person would do everything as long as the boss is around. As soon as the boss leaves, they get to kicking it. So they ain't really a faithful worker. You know what I mean? Because they're not doing what they're supposed to do when you're not around. So you face that. So being independently, fam, will go through a lot of stresses, but I would say that it's worth it. But from experience, I would say don't come in it as a sole proprietor. Get your LLC started. It's not hard. You can get a single member LLC where you can actually start scaling your business. Welding is a scalable business. You can get an ROI, return on your investment, with welding. So don't think that you don't have something and you think like, man, I got something. You got something. You just got to network it a little differently. But it will be moments you'll get a little discouraged trying to figure out what direction I need to go, what way. So I get that, fam. So I just wanted to come to you this evening and just say that it does get stressful. I think I done got a couple gray hairs being down here, but it's a smaller place, so I can't wait to branch out and actually get back, moving around, which I should be moving around here soon. Should be in Birmingham, Alabama, doing a project, and then in Georgia and maybe South Carolina and maybe some more places. Might see me in Florida too. So I'm just networking, fam. Like I said, I'm trying to build something. In order to build certain things, you got to go. You got to be able to relocate sometimes. You got to be able to get uncomfortable and make it make sense. Make it make sense. Just don't do it for the money, fam. I have did things for the money, fam. Yes, yes, Magic City, I have did things for the money, fam, and you don't have no peace. You know what I mean? So now I know it takes money, and we want to get we want to get the bag so that way we can do things. But we got to be wiser with the money now. So once we get a certain piece, if things get slow, we ain't really tripping because our money making money while we doing something else. We can be working on ourselves and doing other things that can improve, our health and our living while the welding business is slow at the time because you're using your money to make money. So think of that. Keep that in mind. If I can give any advice, I would say don't be afraid of the stock market. If you don't do nothing else, just throw something in there, learn as you go, do something. But any way you can make some money by using your money or someone else's money is wise. Most definitely, most definitely. Thanks for checking in. Thanks for checking in. Like I say, my goal is just to give some wisdom, fam. Okay, yes, yes. Get that LLC. Like I say, it's going to help you when it comes to getting the uh, funding you need, getting the loans you need if you need that, or getting the crowd to get involved, showing that you really are legit in legal business. So you can be small and still punch hard. You know what I mean? So don't despise the day of small beginnings. But in small towns, it can be, like pulling teeth, so to speak, because some people believe in the system, and when you try to show them you're doing something different, they tend to I trust the system, so it is what it is, fam. But I will say this, that's why I stress product over talent, because if you got a good product, people will always come to you for that product, fam. Always. So as long as you got something that you can offer that's valuable, you'll be okay. But I know how it is. Like I said, I can't wait to get out of Arkansas, fam. I moved from here for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do not like it, but I do like my family here. I got people here. I got my kids here. So I like it from that point. But as for a black, native, African American, whatever you want to call me, I don't like it. It's not meant for us. You know what I'm saying? It's not meant for us. Like the business, while everything is so many hurdles and things you have to step over. Like it is what it is. Some places you can go, you can just have a better run for your money, and you just have to be wise enough to say, you know what? I think if I pack up my buggy and carriage and go over here, I can have a better life. And we can, fam. We most definitely can. Let me make sure I seen that last message. Yeah, we most definitely can. So, just wanted to say, fam, even though you're in a small area, don't get discouraged. Don't get discouraged and say, hey, I'm done. I'm gonna throw in the towel. You know what I'm saying? But just come up with some prices. Check out what the need, what the really what the big need is in the area, and use welding and started diversifying it, like, cause you can do different things. You know what I mean? If you're in an area where there's a lot of water at, maybe you need to start doing some aluminum, maybe some aluminum boat repairs. They put a lot of holes in them. You know what I mean? You can do that. So it's different things you can do. We just have to think outside the box, man. But I do get it. Some places it's literally like sitting on your hands. I have been there where you have all the equipment, all the tools, no calls, or they see it, but no hits. So you have to really find your niche and find how you're gonna network yourself. So I will say this, fam: in bigger places you can do more, but if you can build your online presence, you can get more people. It seems like you might be in a small area, and And it might be people there that want to network with you that don't know you, but they own social sites. So if you can network on there, they might, hit you that way. It's like, oh, I didn't know I'm here. I want to do this. And then they see you doing it for them. So a lot of times it can be word of mouth is strong and it can be a chain reaction, but we just have to network. We live in a new time, fam. We live in a new time. So we have to network with the times. We like to say, oh, I ain't with that. We get older. Oh, I ain't with that. I want to do this. No, I ain't. That's a kid stuff. But hey, the kids is, you got to think about it. The kids are the future, fam. That's who, if you get messed up, that's who's going to be taking care of you. That's who's going to be feeding you or whatever the situation is. So you got to see where they going and network with them, because they might be your next client. They going to be your next clients. You know what I'm saying? They going to be your next customer. So keep that in mind, fam. Just network. We got a different platform right now. We got these cell phones that you can be able to touch massive amount of people, regardless if you paying for it or not. Things can go organically. So just push it. Keep pushing. I heard a guy say, if you stay at it and you be consistent, you're going to eventually get it right. Like, we're going to get it, fam. But, we understand that coming from rural areas, we wasn't taught, where especially wasn't taught financial literacy. We don't have a clue about how to really get some money, or how to save money, or how to invest money, or how to buy this house, or how to get this car, or what not to buy, or what, we don't know. Most of everything we do is off of image, looks, or, man, I couldn't get that growing up, so I'm gonna get it now. That's what we do. A lot of our stuff is off of what we couldn't do at one stage of our life. So we'll go and indulge in it then and become a slave to a job because we had to get that car, or we had to get this house, that we got to stay here now with this 30-year mortgage, 20 years without, I heard a guy say, family, we have to realize if we can't afford it, like, if we can't afford it, if you can't go pay cash for it, then you can't afford it. So figure out ways to think outside of the box and how to get it, because there's different ways to do it. You can use your credit now. Credit is strong. So we have to be able to leverage things without just using them for luxuries now, because we see where the economy is going. We just seen a post where California is saying they're going to ban gas, buying new gas vehicles in that city by 35. Where if you already got one, you got one, and they probably charge you a higher tax, but they banned it from after 35. It's pretty much that it's going to be all electric game. So you see where we at now. So we know our kids, that's going to be them. They're going to be moving and grooving. So we have to think in things of networking now. And no matter what a part is, it's going to have some welding to it. Everything that's going to be constructed going to happen. The robots, a lot of them won't weld themselves. You know what I'm saying? So it's always some type of assembly or something being going on. So we just have to think outside the box. But it is stressful being in small towns, being independent, pushing your business, pushing your brand, trying to get your point across, trying to get out there. I get it, fam. I honestly get it. I just want to say, stay at it. Think product over talent, and be consistent at what you do, and be firm once you come up with your numbers. Y'all be blessed. Enjoy your day.